Hi, Patriot Action. Well, I want to say first of all that while I would call myself a progressive, which doesn't necessarily mean exactly what you might think by progressive, but I'm a liberal positions on some things maybe, just to tell you whatever bias I'm bringing. I don't think I'm really very biased on this subject. I agree with you. I believe that it's an American principle that we take risks if we want to as individuals in America. And I don't believe in a seatbelt law, even though the seatbelt law did possibly save my life one time because I was wearing a seatbelt only because the seatbelt law had just passed, and I didn't want to get a ticket. I was in a potentially fatal accident, but or at least injured. I didn't even get injured at all. The seatbelt was definitely a factor, I can tell you that. And so that didn't change my mind. I still believe we should be able to take our risks. So I agree with you on that kind of law. On the other hand, I don't agree with you that taxes is that kind of thing. It's not that the government can spend the money better. It's that we have a nation, and if we are in a nation, of course we're going to have to have resources to spend as a nation. And that gets into, well, where does it all end? In my view, what a proper free country that still has a government, basically there is no government. Nothing can govern you. People are free. What we call a government, what its right is to do and where it should end is on infrastructure. It can support the infrastructure. The infrastructure is all the highways, and it can be interpreted broadly. Communications infrastructure is important in the nation, and yet it didn't used to be. So new kinds of infrastructure can evolve, and there is a lot of flexibility in what is defined as infrastructure. Toxic materials put in the environment are legitimately something that can be regulated by a government, and that's going to seem like restrictions in deciding. So the government can push things pretty far, even with this limit being infrastructure. But it's still important because, remember, infrastructure is something we all share. There's a shared tool that we can all use that all can help us all survive. Even like education. People that don't have kids still are using education in the sense that it makes an educated populace, means you're going to have more expert services and just a better economy and a better nation. So this is all can be considered infrastructure. And so where does that stop? Well, I think basically it stops at an argument. When you start to have personal freedoms, then you have an argument over where it stops still. But you do not tell people what they can do to their own bodies. So I agree with you. I don't think you should generalize, and basically the summary I'm trying to get is that the government is not there to do good things for its people. It's just there to provide these services. So it's a different perspective. It's there to provide services for everybody, and not free services because we're all paying into it. But things like highways and the police, we want those socialized. We don't want privatized police. And I think fire stations and libraries and schools. I believe actually in some like charter schools we have around here, and I believe kind of competition in a market, but obviously it's still highly regulated. And so these are all justifiable because they're infrastructure, and we should argue on, well, what do we all need? What does us all some good? And that's that. With the direct upload, who knows? I usually edit. Anyway, all right. Good video.